This is an illustration that I drew in May, back when Shanghai was still under strict lockdowns. It was the most popular corgi in our compound, famous for its smile. Hi, I'm Shannon, and as a high school student who loved to experiment with art, I have made this illustration in response to a story that one of my neighbors have told me. She had said that this specific corgi, named Hua Hua, has healed her. During lockdowns, where there was little social interaction available, she often went out into the compound to play with Hua Hua. There was one instance where Hua Hua's owner told it to smile for the camera, and it magically understood. A warm and bright smile spread across its face like that shown in the picture, and that moment was curing for my neighbor. After that, they became friends. My neighbor could tell that it was Hua Hua, not some other dog, just by the sound of its quickly padding feet. After hearing this story, I was amazed at how such a small animal can be so intelligent and joyful. It can understand human words. Inspired by this story, I made this illustration and returned it to my neighbor and the owner of Hua Hua. Almost immediately, they expressed words of gratitude. I was able to capture the heartfelt happiness in this specific, precious moment through my own art. Looking at this piece, I realized how powerful art and our emotions are, and how interconnected they can be. We experience countless emotions, some of which we can articulate, some of which we cannot. But art is something that can help express all of those emotions. Armed with this insight, I decided to launch an activity to help my community express their emotions through art and to find power within that. I had named the activity Empower to highlight its purpose. The EM of empower is capitalized to show its relation to the word emo or emotions. I wanted to open an online submission portal where anyone can write about their stories and their feelings. In return, I will create a piece of art in different mediums, including but not limited to digital illustration, photography, videos, collage, and more. I wanted to help my submitters speak up about their emotions and to gain empowerment from that. Now, it had been around 2 months since I first initiated this activity. 2 months since I first drew that cute image of Hua Hua. I have received a total of more than 50 submissions, and I have created more than 10 pieces of art. I plan on to continuously open the submission portal and to work on these artworks on a rolling basis. But for now, I would like to share 2 more stories that I have from my experience with this activity. Aside from submissions that were joyous, such as my neighbor's bond with Hua Hua, there were also submissions that conveyed darker emotions. During times of lockdowns, there were undeniably instances where frustration and loneliness took hold of us. One of those submissions comes from a student who had arrived in Shanghai amidst social distancing measures. Being an 18-year-old student who had just finished her first year of university in Hong Kong, she had longed to come home. However, things were not in her favor. She had to carry multiple suitcases and bags all by herself, arrived at a designated hotel with no table for her to take online classes, and bumped her head hard at the hotel. Her stomach problems have caused her to throw up uncontrollably, preventing her to eat anything for the next 2 days. The psychological and physical pressures built on her, and all she could remember was pain. As I read through this submission, I felt immense sympathy. For a student who had desired to come home, she had experienced harsh challenges. I had a deep thought about what to create for this piece, and finally decided on digital illustration. My creative powers came to use as I created this piece as shown on this slide. I had elongated this piece to a length longer than usual artworks to convey a sense of falling, a sense of being taken over by pain. The bottom part of this piece portrays the pieces of memories that have pushed her into such suffering. I used a purple tone for the background to convey darker emotions and yellow lines to produce contrast. This piece, by capturing specific memories through artistic means, recorded bursts of emotions that my submitter experienced and helped her to relieve and express her pain. Though there were many submissions that talked about negative emotions, which were reasonable due to the lockdowns, there were still quite a few that landed again on the positive end. In fact, I would like to share my last story on a hopeful note. This submission talked about the confusion that confronted Shanghai when the pandemic first rebounded. It talked about the people that have stolen food supplies, the people who have spread misinformation, and the people who have died due to depletion of healthcare resources. But it also emphasized that it was understandable for a city and its people to be dumbfounded when faced with such a sudden challenge. He ends his note by saying that as long as we continue to stand by the COVID testing and social distancing measures in place today, there is no doubt that victory will be ours. After reading so many submissions from all kinds of different people, this was one of those that I resonated with and wanted to share with the most. The sudden resurge of the virus was unanticipated for everyone. The sudden change in lifestyle hit everyone hard. But hope is like a feather, like a light, small but unwavering. I took this imagery and created a piece combining collage and illustration. The background of this piece is actually a collage of images that we've all become familiar with in the past few months. Getting vaccinated, taking COVID tests, etc. I decided on a blue tone for the background to convey the confusion and the unfortunate nature of the sudden resurge of the virus. But what's more important is the dove that is in front of all of this. A dove has always symbolized hope. In fact, in the one that I drew, it carries a red note with the word victory in Chinese written on it. A light shines across the piece, illuminating the dove. Hope is never lost. After hearing so many diverse voices from this activity, I have gained lots of insight that I otherwise could not. I have realized more clearly than ever how powerful our stories and our emotions are. As I read through those submissions, and hopefully as you've heard them today, I deeply empathized with them. By creating artworks for these submissions, I was able to help my submitters express their emotions and feel that they have been understood. Moreover, it was also a self-healing process for me. Emotions are something that we're all familiar with. And whether positive or negative, they may all be a bit overwhelming. But I urge you to realize the potential within your emotions. Digest it. Face it. Use it as a creative power. And I hope you will start to understand how strong they can be. Let's empower ourselves by facing our emotions. Thank you.